Now, heading down from Cow to Docks. See where this one heads. We did see it go all the way towards that northwest side where Alter Ego were able to pick up their first chicken dinner of the tournament. So they just grabbed another over on Miramar.
Towards the top, especially after this game, Blank, I imagine that we're going to start to see teams dropping out of the race for that top spot for the champion title to lift the trophy at the end of the day. Match 15, it is so close to the end of what these teams have worked all year for. What a way to cap it off it would be, well, for anyone really, to lift that trophy. Phenomenal news. Nova, if they want to defend their title, they have to stand up now.
Seven put it best. Honestly, this has to be the time for it, right? Because 3 more matches. You have to be absolutely blind as you have to hit it outside of the park every single time. You want to be that guy that has to make that poor dude run all the way into the car park to pick the ball back up again just so that you can hit it for 6 once more. And if Nova's going to do that, it has to be some extremely potent games coming forwards. Already Circle hands up in their direction down towards Painan. Maybe a chance for it. I think the scariest thing for Nova is they'd left it so late at this point in time that you're doing it on Sandhawk, a pretty unreliable map. When it comes to hitting those points, is a map where you just want to be consistent. 10 points average is absolutely fine. But for Nova, 10 points is not enough. They're going to have to go for the chicken dinner. Second place with a lot of eliminations. First place with a lot of eliminations. Third place might just cut it. But again, you don't want to have to go into Erangel and Miramar and have to continue to pump up those points. For Nova right now, this is certainly a chance to pick up a huge amount of eliminations from Painan, which does fall in the path of a lot of rotations of these teams coming down towards the southwest side of the map.
Nova might be able to pick up a whole host of points for themselves if they play their cards right here. Controlling their crossing could be crucial for their chance at the title. But for Angry Men, a little bit closer to that title right now, sat on 126, 14 points behind S2G and the top spot. And they'll be looking to try and close that gap here. Unfortunately going down in a not great performance over on Miramar for 4 Angry Men. And S2G obviously doing as well as they did. It is going to be difficult.
Yeah, 140 points. I think a lot of the attention was on that Alter Ego win. Now it sits them in 10th. With a very good capability to get in towards top 6 if they really push it to the limit now. But for S2G, can't take from the fact that they were able to get that second place, right? Well, third place over on Miramar from a very nice compound. Good amount of eliminations as well, which sits them now at 140. Inco behind at 137. 4 AM really did not get a lot of points on that last match, getting crunched away on that western edge.
Godlike Stalwart playing in boot camp central, yet to make their full decision on rotation to move down to that southwestern island potentially. Most likely we will be finishing over there, so at least getting to the compounds to their southwest on the confluence of the rivers on that trifecta compound, Blank, could be a good decision for Godlike Stalwart, because remember they're on 110. They're an outside shot, but they are still very much a horse in the race.
Yeah, I think that is something that we need to consider. They do keep having these pretty good performances throughout our matches today and yesterday, in fact. With Top at the start of the day being the highest damage dealer by quite a fair bit as well. He has really been putting in the work for the team. Inco versus DRS. Scary engagement for the Inco here. I do think that DRS brings a lot more firepower to punch here. Inco with the compound does provide them with a little bit of safety though going forward. DRS still looking to push in on this one though.
I feel like
disgusting shots though.
On the defense, nice. Inco have had lots of practice. So if they are given a compound like this to hold,
yeah,
this is them at their best. And DRS, again, same as what you said, on their best performance.
Exactly. This is their kind of best scenario. It's a very, very good point, John, in the sense that Inco is playing their best sort of gameplay, and DRS is the one who is very good with the battering ram. pushing in from the edge side. Nades come through. DRS is playing this marvelously, backing off. Texas two-step here, not allowing Inco to get anything done, and then Nebete falls from Delta.
That was the position on the outside as well for Inco. An off angle from Nenebete is dealt with, handled, and two players from DRS are going to start to move on this hillside. Look how far away Giante and Delta are, but they do not lack the confidence here. DRS are going to play off against one another, sees Nenebete get behind the rock, and the information should be gathered on over. No nades for Rules to be able to lob that behind, no Molotovs either. And teammate just suppressing those angles. Vitali in the compound for Inco, and actually Nenebete has been rezzed now. The QBU, an ankle spotted for Rules, does get a little tickle of damage, and up in the hunting tower, Killer doesn't quite find a knock either. These small amounts of healing could start to come through. Vitali wants to leverage position. This is a crucial fight, and with Inco on 3 players already, they might be letting this second place on the table slip just a little bit.
Delta with a nade. Could go straight through that window there.
Oh.
Lobs it in. Vitali's fine. Good sprays though. Vitali takes a lot of damage. We'll go for the pre-spray on the window. Delta runs back. That could be bad news. Vitali does not peek out quick enough, and Delta finds himself in a very strong spot. In the meantime, Squash goes very low, goes down now. Vitali, last member remaining. Inco, 137 in second place, crumbling at this point in time.
This is massive for DRS. A nade out through the window, and Vitali now last standing. A massive powerhouse for Inco during the games we've seen so far, the first 14 matches, but in match number 15, he has to go 1 versus 4 against DRS, who started the game 4 points behind them. With this final point, they will find the equalizer. They are neck and neck now, second place for both teams.
DRS must be extremely happy with that one. Both in the same type of position too. And for Inco, this is a similar rotation, so you wonder if DRS have targeted this. Taking them down here and early does not allow them to go for their classic approach in towards the circle. Alpha 7 though versus S2G, currently low on members.
Alpha 7 getting pushed down the pecking order somewhat in that last game. Looking to try and slow the lead over on S2G side. Nades are really putting some punishment heavily in the way for S2G. Ray-Z with the DBS around the rock. Silas and Hamzy G both going low, and a lovely little opening found. No peaks being made by Alpha 7. We've talked about how they're streaky, how they're hot, how they have some power, but here they play it calm and reserved against S2G. 1 player remains, it's Kelsey.
Kelsey does send out a dodge. 7 was saying he'd love to see Alpha 7 come out on top here on Sandhawk. They're certainly an aggressive team. They work well on Sandhawk as a whole. Those nades were perfectly placed. In the meantime, though, we do have a botation coming through. One of the first of PMGC 2022.
Oh, yeah.
It's 4 AM. Coming all the way from docks. And you wonder where they're going to sit in place. Maybe drop up towards where Wolves are playing. In Tambang. Be a potential position to rock up towards. Or towards that western side of Bantai. Also a pretty good position to play from. Maybe going for more of an edge play here for 4 AM. But again, I think this is another very important game for 4 AM because at 126 points, behind Alpha 7 now in 5th place, really will take something special for them to get towards the top. Back in that conversation, John.
Crashing into Vampire's position, 1 and 2 fall. 9AP will be joined by Sky Only as well. 3rd player to fall for Buradam, and Vampire. This is a solid hold. They've managed to allow them to step into the Lion's Den. And they will keep on going. Bottom of the tables for Vampire, but even they have so much power to play with, Blank. It is so difficult to make headway in this lobby. And finally, they're able to pick up the points against Buradam. 4 eliminations. And they crossed that 60-point threshold.
Finally. It's taken a while. Again, though, as we said before, no one's really on that 10-point average at the moment, so it's really still quite malleable in terms of gaining those points, getting higher within the tables itself. T2K coming in from the southeast side. 4 AM opting to go even further outside of the zone on their botation. could even drop up towards IHC and Alter Ego, just the south side of Camp Alpha, though I do think we might see this engagement coming through between IHC and Alter Ego. Already those Yol down. This is a great opportunity for Alter Ego. Renorex moves around the side, DBS, it's a bit of damage, but not enough.
Alex goes for the full lap of the compound and takes a
GB.
little bit too much damage there from Pombit. Has to back off though. Nade in hand could prove to be really very troublesome for IHC if he able to land it right around the edge or put it into the building as well. Pombit wants to pop it through the door, back up to the building he has for cover. And Alter Ego playing a little bit smarter. IHC allowed to get the res, however, and now both of these teams have to share it, 4 apiece. 2 buildings held, and a lovely little off angle from Fnatic. The high ground held. What a rotation from him. Gets the flush over onto Demo. Needs to be worried from the side, and Tjol does not manage to slip it on through. Nade over the top might be able to do the job, though, and if Fnatic goes down here, they might turn it topsy-turvy. A lovely reposition away.
He runs from that.
Excellent heads-up play from Fnatic to keep that high ground under control, and in goes Alter Ego. Godless and Alex on the inside. The first is rebuffed. Now the rest of the team need to step forwards. Godless finds a second, and the third is there. It's all coming crumbling down. Only Fnatic now standing for Alter Ego. It looked so hopeful when they'd taken down Demo, but now they're left high and dry with only Fnatic.
The 3v3 could have been there, but I think with that man advantage, you never push on that. But again, the drums from the crowd, that's the type of thing that really could take you into a new type of drive, a new type of sensation, just wanting to push it out. Now Fnatic just has to live for a little bit longer. Real unfortunate stuff. Circle heads up towards the northwest side. Influence Kevin in a really strong spot towards that bridge, but a lot of water in this one. Not a lot of places to play. 4AM ditches their boat, will start to swim towards the docks of Tambang.
Somehow it's the best strategy out of a lot of these teams from the top 5. I would say in this next circle it's probably about 30% playable terrain at this stage, Blank, if you don't count the water, which I guess you could say is technically playable, but even then it's going to be very, very tricky. Not only that, but you've got a lot of shallows in that water, which you can't hide in. You can't just swim around there in that river.
No, it's very difficult, and I think that even if you look up towards that northern side, that landmass is sort of not what you want right now, particularly with the fact that it most likely will move away from there. Could even end up on the bridge, you know, which would be absolutely crazy. Alpha 7 moving up out of the blue now, just getting out of it, heading up towards T2K's location. S2G still in the game with Calci all the way on that northern edge by IHC.
With the eliminations that Nova have been able to find so far, 2, they do break into 3 digits. 101 points now. We said at the start they need a big game, every game from here on out. They are still as 4, and then on the southeast side, and pretty much the center of the playable terrain. Mythic spotted, cut out, and Vampire continue picking up their 5th elimination of the game. Oh, Carrillo wants to push them back, though. And Schwepp finds a second as well. Carrillo looks for a third!
Oh, he gets it as well.
Oh, my goodness me, but not going to be good enough, unfortunately. A third party comes on in. And that is beautiful news for Vampire to keep themselves alive, but my, what a go of it from Alpha 7. Shift comes in. It's all the way down south. And 4 Angry Men, with a rotation, playing out in the water, somehow, Blank, have one of the best positions in this next circle.
Yeah, extremely strong. I think the real question for me is, can they get up onto the coastal side? Currently still in the water. Most likely we'll have to move up towards the docks on the northern side that Influence Kemen are currently holding on to. So a little bit awkward, but certainly still playable. Question is, how much loot do they still have? They weren't out in the blue for a very long time either, considering how much water was still in. I think they played that move very, very exceptionally well. Just because you're on that western side anyway, usually they might have thought about dropping in earlier on the south, but they understood that there's so much water out there. We're outside that 400-meter LOS range, so we can just drop out the vehicle. No one even knows we're here. We swim towards the coastal side. It's not likely anyone's going to be looking at that coast anyway if they didn't see a boat in the first place. So for 4AM, this is a very heads-up play. it will kind of run on the curtails on the fact that if they can get up onto the island itself without Influence Chem and spotting.
Some more swimming going on through. IHC sharking off the Fnatic. Trying to live his best Dolphin life here. Going to struggle with it. 3 players in pursuit for the squad. Nova playing on the eastern side of the circle, just to the southwest of Ruins, will be guarding out DRS. A very important fight for not only Nova's progression, but DRS's to try and climb up those tables towards S2G, who are still going, by the way, with Kelsey on the northern shore, but I'm sure that's going to be very difficult to make any more headway.
WWX making a dangerous move right now. Swinging over the top side of this rock. Fnatic doesn't take too much damage, but IHC unfortunately spotted much quicker. DRS just to move in towards Nova's position, but gets sent back fairly quickly here. Good Xiao. The rest of 4am. Frozen though. It's a heavy hit there, but DRS is just slowly but surely bleeding out as the bullets find the target too many times.
Just Delta remaining under the purview of Nova, who seem to have turned it up a notch. 5 eliminations now on the game. That nade is going to cross with the one from Frozen. And Delta takes a little bit of damage. Frozen and Jimmy playing off that same angle, trying to move on forwards as much as they can, as Godlike Stalwart on the northern side clashed with Influence Chem, and it's going pretty even on that trade over on the northern side. If DRS go down here, it is going to be so close, with Kelsey almost certainly going down fairly soon. I think he's still healing right now in the blue zone. We saw that strategy go a little bit down the pan with the changes to the circles that we saw, but you can still get to maybe a top 8 if you're lucky.
Top 8 certainly still available. Stalwart moves up though. Influence Chem taking punishment here from them. Pika moves in, finds another little boy. I think last remaining now for the team. Wolves in the meantime keeping Geek Fam off their doorstep.
Pushing them back. Pick Feet the only casualty so far for Wolves, but in come Nova to try and play spoiler. There they go for S2G as well. So the top of the tables is down and out. Delta most likely not long for this game either. And the nades from Nova start to pour in through the windows. One more launched on in for Order. 3 eliminations for Order, 3 for Paraboy right now. And they're going to try and add that one as well. Pick Feet still down for the Wolves. Chinese team pushing onto Chinese team, but Memory shuts down Frozen's close position. A second knock over towards the back from Remember finds Order. Jimmy wants the res on the player towards the back. Paraboy still active. Order super low, and there's the knock. Paraboy now in a 1 versus 3 on the hold. Needs to push in, but Delta's still there. DRS are still going, and they might be the spoiler that they were looking for. Frozen knocked on the front, and Jimmy resable here, sure, but the nades can come from the Wolves, and Paraboy, he's not looking his back, he's not checking his 6, and Delta might move on through and play complete spoiler. Delta falls to Geek Fam, who play a third party, and Nova are going to stay alive for it.
Dewey might stay up here. 33 Zan also on that western side has been watching as Fnatic and IHC have rolled in, giving the information back. WWX looks over towards that spot, and Zyol might just try and play spoiler, but the information's already been gathered, it's already been thrown through, and already 4am are starting to swing, sift, flow down towards this south side. And Fnatic's still going for Alter Ego.
Let's take a minute to talk about Vampire, though. They have reached 10 eliminations. They hold a massive high ground compound in this next circle, Blank. We've seen them take a fight. They held out Buriram really nicely, and they've been leveraging their position ever since.
Absolutely, it's going to be difficult to remove Vampire from this spot. They knew they needed the big game. Scry tries to run across, but it's over open ground. It was only a matter of time before some of those shots hit, and this is the PMGC. This is where the players don't miss. This is where you give them an easy shot and you go to your knees.
Speaking of, Paraboy and Jimmy lighten it up against Godlike Stalwart on the hillside. The Wolves still in their compound, holding out Nova with the blue zone pushing in. They do need to go for this fight. It was slowed down earlier and taken out of the mix. And teams are really not willing to give any ground. 4 angry men want to go on the chase. They had 14 points to make up, but Svan goes down to top. 2 players active for Godlike Stalwart. Fnatic still in the water underneath, but Zeol's close by. Looking to roll that one up. Paraboy knocked Nova, find the last as well, and Wolves alive with 3. 7th place, 6 eliminations. It's not terrible, but blank, they needed more than that.
They did need more than that. 4 AM as well. I thought that push from Svan was a bit weird. Massive grenade there. The only saving grace is a nade takes down top. WWX has to hit this first aid kit soon, but he's out into the open now. I think 4AM's going to struggle. Already down to just 1 player in WWX, and he has to hit one of these shots.
5th place for Alter Ego. Ravenclaw nearly gets away with it, but WWX, Meerkat's back underneath, peeks down. Wolves are now looking to roll on in and play from the bottom of the hill that everybody else has struggled with so much, but underneath them, it's action and maybe a little bit of an unknown X factor here. I don't think they know. They're certainly not aware. Steps up, pick feet. Oh, he's whiffed the spray completely. Action now. 3 players bearing down right upon him.
He's
somehow
away.
Gets to some sort of semblance of safety, but he's finally sought out and sanctioned for his trouble.
Wolves versus Vampire, and Vampire up on high. But it's a 4v4, an unlikely setting here on Sandhawk that we see this type of engagement. Both sides own some cover. There's a row between both of them. But Vampire want to end up in the top 8 today. Like Sir Tanny was saying earlier, the coach from the team, this will have to be the clean 1v4. 4v4.
They started the game on none 157.
That is true.
So they are going to need to...
Most teams are on the hundreds and somethings.
Exactly. So hopefully with this game, 14 eliminations, they're looking to put more up as well. They might even challenge the 18 elimination game we've seen already today, Blank. Coming on through, but Pick Feet has other ideas. Memory has fallen in the meantime, so 2 players active for the Wolves. 15 eliminations on the card for Vampire with 3 more left to gain. 1 more now stands between them and the chicken dinner. It is Vampire from the bottom of the tables. The looks of relief on their faces as they pick up an 18 elimination chicken dinner. 33 points